What's up, guys? Tasteless and Artosis here at the GSL studio in Samsung. And we saw really short CVZ, action-packed.
Yeah, 10 cool Baneling, man. It is the new, let's see. It's the new black.
It's the new black, man.
It goes with everything. It's very stylish.
Now we got a TVP coming up here, Keen against Squirtle. This series should be longer than the first series we just saw there.
Yeah.
I expect Squirtle to win this. In fact, I expect Squirtle to be the first one out of this group.
I think that that's a fair thing to expect. Squirtle is amazingly good, but if there's one Zerg that's going to match up really well against Squirtle, it's Symbol, because he's so good in the long games.
That's very true.
I feel like Swarmhost was almost created for Symbol.
Oh, you know what? I really like what you just said there.
Yeah. So I don't know if Squirtle will get out in first place or second place, but I think he'll get out. But this man here, he knows how to win, Tasteless.
I think he's the handsomest player in the GSL.
He might be.
Who's more handsome?
Well, you're a caster, but I would count you.
We don't count Artosis. I'm thinking, who could be more handsome than Keen?
Whoever won the latest GSL. Nesty's more handsome.
That's true. But Nesty's also not a human, so it doesn't
And he's
really
also
count.
not in GSL, so I
That's
guess
true.
it really doesn't count.
Keen's been around for a long time.
Let me get back to you on that.
Yeah, that's right. It was actually a tough question I asked. As you can see, or you could have seen at the bottom right side of our screen, we had a lot of Code S that he's been in before. But the same can be said for Squirtle. Squirtle's a very solid player. GSL finalist, in fact.
Yeah.
And I have to say, I think he has some of the best builds.
He does.
In StarCraft, too. Not even just for Protoss, but just in general.
He's completely brilliant, and he's in that hive mind of Protoss is called LGIM.
Yes.
Younghua, Seed, MC, Squirtle. I mean, I'm even forgetting someone right now, and I don't know how I could do that, but I'm forgetting like a great Protoss that's on that team also. First is
also very good.
Ridiculous lineup of Protosses. So his builds are going to be insanity.
Yeah, I mean, that's basically the best Protoss think tank in the world.
Yeah, it is. It's
I still go back and think about the game Squirtle played, where he's a group with 3 Terrans.
Yeah.
And basically had 6. He had the same starting build for the first few minutes, and then it had like 6 or 7 different branches that he used, so nobody could predict him. It was crazy.
He's amazingly good, man. I'm excited to see what he's thought up in Heart of the Swarm. I haven't seen enough matches from him yet in this.
Definitely a guy to watch for. And of course, Keen, he'll do whatever it takes to win. This guy will double racks proxy.
Yeah.
In fact, he beat Squirtle doing just that. In one of our earlier wins at Liberty tournaments for GSL Code S.
Good call there.
Thanks, no problem.
But Keen is, he's aggressive. He knows how to win, and he'll play on a knife's edge, Tasteless.
Well said, Artosis. All right, we're going to get this going, so get ready for an awesome TVP down here to see who's going to go into the winners and face off against Symbol here in the GSL Code S.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and introduce these guys down here in the bottom right. A great Terran player that really knows how to win. He is
MVP King.
And there he is. Handsome guy, as Tasteless said. Up here in the top left.
I have good taste in men.
They don't call you Tasteless for that. Up here in the top left, one of our favorite Protosses, one of the most powerful out there. He is
LGIM Squirtle.
Okay. It's time, Tasteless, to see what he's got.
Oh, nice.
An overpriced pizza to get to the GSL faster. And you know what?
You got your priorities straight.
I hope you have a stamp.
Nice shirt. Oh, I saw that guy in the subway station. Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he was like, I just got recognized.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Signed something for him. Nice guy.
Yeah, he's obviously a Terran fan with that Terran hoodie.
Could be, yeah.
Therefore, we don't really like him. Now I'm a fan of all the races.
Well, we got gas coming down here now.
Wouldn't be surprised if he opens Reaper. Wouldn't be surprised by
Reaper's becoming a pretty normalized opener.
I think it's the most solid. Like, you actually just see what Protoss is doing.
It also seems like a lot of Terrans have a hard time fast expanding against Protoss. Like these old builds where you get the Marines, the command center. I've had such an easy time hurting people early on.
I've been thinking a lot about it. a lot, like theory crafting and my own games and stuff. I think Command Center First should go extinct soon.
I think so.
As long as Protosses mix in enough aggression, as long as there are still Protosses as long as Oracles are still useful against Terran, against other Terran builds, basically, I think that Command Center Firsts are going to go away. I'm not sure that you can actually defend against a well-executed Oracle type of pressure. But I don't know. It'll take some time to see. There might be something that pops up that allows it to occur. But as we see, Keen grabbing double Reaper.
Ooh, I like this.
He's only got one gas, so he can't keep up non-stop double Reaper production.
All right, well, he'll probably do one loop around the minerals here and then go back home. Did that not damage him? Did he fire in the motion and damage? That was weird.
I guess so.
What?
We're going to have a... Let's see.
That
a
was
couple more Reapers
really weird.
should be on the way after these two, I believe. And
right,
nice scouting.
Okay, now, that was a really good scout because he spotted the two Reapers. I was going to say he might just assume that those it's going to be a Marine opener.
Well, two Reapers, a little bit more dangerous than one. Let's not get into the crazy mode, though, where, you know, there are builds where you actually just make Reapers nonstop that are pretty neat. We've seen a few of those in the GSL so far. Not so often against Protoss, more often against Zerg. Sometimes against Terran.
All right, so he's chased these Reapers out. Now, he's got to be careful because counterattacks are going to be a very real thing, especially, you know, on this map, with Reapers also being able to obviously jump over edges and being faster than all these units.
Now we do have Squirtle expanding off of those two gases, and he still hasn't really been able to get up there. You know, against a Reaper opening, if you can get your Zealot across the map, and then have a Stalker and Mothership Core there right behind it, it's actually very nice. You can do a lot of pressure because the Reapers took so long to make. So that looks like Squirtle was kind of doing that, which is why Keen took so long to actually get across the map with these Reapers.
Yeah. Well, looks like this one might try to sneak in here, but it will be shut down. And he's gone too far inside, so he has to commit now. Don't know if he's even going to get a kill. Oh, you're kidding me.
Yeah, he thought he was going to get that, but the Reaper, a little bit too slippery for Squirtle.
Well, you know, they're so fast, they're so hard to trap. Okay, now we have the second Reaper coming up here. That's annoying because those Reapers obviously can regen now. So he can basically go unpunished. Oh, and he canceled the Stargate, excuse me. Stargate.
Yes, I do like this. Going for that Robo instead, it's going to be a little bit more solid. And you know what? If your Stargate gets scouted, it's already done its job. They're probably going to get a missile turret.
Yeah, I mean, that's a very good observation, Artosis, is that they have to throw up turrets now because they know the threat of the Oracle is just too much. So why not just cancel it? Then they're spending, you know, money defending something that's never going to come now because you canceled.
And in fact, you know, I have a lot of respect for Squirtle and the way his brain works. Seeing that Robo, he doesn't necessarily know that it was canceled because you do oftentimes follow up with the Robo so you can go into Colossus.
Well, also, a lot of people just get the Robo and start getting observers to try to catch medevac drops.
That's true, yeah.
So that's another thing to keep in mind.
But yeah, you know, when someone goes Reaper, I think it's not even bad to make the Stargate then cancel it. To be honest, think about this, right? Because
he's going to see now.
He really wants to know, and it's gone. No turrets for Keen. But yeah, you know, just it's going to force, if they don't get up and scout again, it's going to force them to react as if you have what you were originally going for anyways. So kind of an interesting.
Now what he's going to do is make a Stargate again now at that same location. Well, how better would that be?
He just goes cannons and cannons and Tempest.
Yeah, I mean, just goes cannons and Tempest versus Terran.
Yeah.
Then loses.
I don't know. That probably works against everything.
Probably.
Yeah, I assume.
Well, I tried it in PvP. I didn't have a ton of success. I'm not going to lie. I was like, well, let's just see what happens. And I just died. I'm like, oh.
Protoss makes like 4 Nexuses.
Yeah.
It's like, all right.
I'm like, I need this to be on a smaller map, like Steps of War, where I could probably shoot them from my second base.
Yeah. All right, so with Double Forge on the way, Squirtle obviously going for the long game. His Observer getting some really good scouting intel going on. Sees that single engineering bay and the fact that there's a lot of units on the way, as well as a third command center. Whoa, no, not going to be able to
really nice catch there.
Yeah. So he sees that the third command center is coming up, throws down his third Nexus. Now, there is still going to be a pretty dangerous little period when these first medevacs are coming out, where it's going to be hard for him to actually hold on, because no splash damage quite yet. He should have the first Colossus popping out around the time the medevacs get there with all the units. But he's going to be spread kind of thin. The one redeeming factor is that this is a triple command center build by Keen, so he's not going to have as many units. Like, for instance, if he was trying to take this third base against 5 Raxes instead of the quick 3 command centers, he'd probably just die. But if he has some nice finesse and he does it just right, he can hold on and stop this harassment well.
All right. A little hallucinated at Phoenix coming in here to continue to do scouting. And we'll have to see. A lot of this is going to come down to the control on both sides. It's definitely hard to call. And also where the Terran actually elects to attack.
And where the Protoss elects to stand, how he splits up his units. Of course, the Mothership Core looks like it's going to sit more in the main base, and he's got everything clustered around his Nexus, so it's going to be easier to defend.
Now, whenever you're outside the Terran's base like this, you're probably going to want, you probably scan your army, because 90% of the time there's going to be an observer over you. They'll always try to stalk your army and then just have something to watch. See if medevacs pick up. So if you're ever going to drop, just a little note, scan your army, there's a high chance. And if there's nothing there, that's great. Then have the element of surprise on your side.
And
all right, needs to target down those medevacs.
Keen overcommitting there a little bit, losing a little bit, and but he does get out. But see, this is the really crucial time where Squirtle is going to be the weakest. He's only going to get more powerful from here. So the fact that first little engagement did absolutely nothing for him is kind of a big deal. Squirtle has to be feeling very confident now.
Got some Hellbats mixed in here, since a lot of Terrans will go really heavy Zealot early on with builds like this. 2 more gases coming down now. And it looks like Thermal Lance is about to finish.
You know, he has started charge. It does have 2-2 on the way, or his 2-1 is on the way here for Keen. But the Hellbat-based composition, you're going to have to be a little bit more careful with. You can't just go for these really super heavy Zealot-type compositions. You really need a lot of splash damage. And, of course, if you have Blink Stalkers, you can go out and kite them a little bit before they get to your base, that type of thing. Ooh, nice move there by Keen. Pulling back that medevac with the boost.
All right, the medevac's coming in here now, but the observer does spot it.
Doesn't matter,
though. Observers everywhere.
It has Hellbats in it, Tasteless.
And he's going to go right for the mineral line here in the main. We're going to get a shot of that now. And he hasn't evacuated just yet. He does have the Nexus cannon on.
And, well, that's obviously going to do a lot of damage to those probes if he doesn't move them, but actually a very strong hold. Wow, he only killed 4 and lost the medevac and the... Wow.
I wonder if he knew not to micro there or what. That was kind of strange.
By the way, the building placement of Squirtle is getting me all hot and bothered.
Yeah, me too.
He's got everything hugging the Nexus, so the Nexus cannon is even more powerful. And it seems like obvious that that's something you should do, but it's actually hard to set it up in such a way that your base still has good circulation.
Yeah. A very neat placement. I wonder if every PvT plays on this map has the same placement.
I bet you almost
I think he's one of those players, you know?
He's a noni.
He's a noni. All right. About half the Terran's army is moving out around the middle of the map. He has map control. The other half is back at home. He'll probably regroup pretty soon here. Terran is about to max out again, by the way.
Very similar upgrades for these guys. We do have Psystorm finishing up. No Ghost Academy. Instead, Keen is focusing more heavily on his ground composition and Vikings. But that's going to make the Storms even more powerful. Having no Ghost, that's going to be absolutely terrible for Keen.
All right, he's coming here now. And he's going to wipe this out before it can even make a scratch, make a dent here in the base. Meanwhile, another massive drop coming here. Is he going to get the feedback off? Canceling the Nexus.
And looks like he is going to drop another Hellbat there, chasing back this little army.
Supplies starting to even out. 2 Zealots, against the Hellbat. Results in a victory there for Squirtle. Squirtle's defense is just solid.
It's so good that I will be rewatching this game tomorrow.
Yeah.
I mean, he's doing a fantastic job. Keen is very good at multi-pronged harassment, but it is not doing anything.
Looks like he's going to try to pick up here and maybe go to the main.
He's got to be careful.
Or potentially just go home.
The main base is pretty well defended with High Templar up there.
Right now, sending some Zealots over here, but the most of his army is actually parked over here at the third base. Looks like Squirrel's probably going to expand again here. 3-3 is on the way, too.
Now we do have Squirtle coming across the map. Notice he is using a Warp Prism. He doesn't want for EMPs or anything like that to ruin his Templar's days. He knows he needs to hit storms. So very good move there.
Here we go. Rushing in here now. A nice job blinking behind the Hellbats to make them fire in multiple directions. The sentries are going down without doing much damage at all. Microing the Archon back. No more Colossi.
Wait, did he ever drop out his High Templars?
I never saw him.
No, I didn't either.
Did you? I didn't.
No, I don't know if this was a misclick or he decided that it was a lost cause, or maybe they weren't in there.
I'm not sure, actually.
Well, he brought the Warp Prism up, so it seemed like they should have been. But this is really good for Keen, obviously. You know, he just killed off basically a full army of Squirtles, all his expensive units, things like Sentries, Archons, Colossi, things that are going to be really hard for him to actually replace. And now some of his High Templars are on the loose, running around the map. Okay, there you go.
Looks like he's going to do a storm drop over. Or no, he's actually going to go back and defend, excuse me.
Yeah.
And see, he's hardly doing any damage with those storms because right now Keen's sending this very small amount of units out. He's got to be careful with his Warp Prism, too. He does not want to go into those turrets.
Well, right now, you know, the army of Squirtle is so Zealot-based right now. Everything he does costs so much gas. That's going to let the Hellbats do a better job. But how many are actually with this army? This army doesn't have enough Hellbats to maybe make that difference. I'm not sure.
Looks like the storm drop is occurring over here, too. Getting a lot of damage off on those SCVs, and he can continue to hurt them. Now, note, he's just giving up his fourth. Or, no, I guess he's going to try to save it. Let's see if he can do just that.
His army is pretty powerful. Moving forward with these High Templars. A nice EMP does go down on them.
Looks like the Nexus can't be saved. It won't be saved now that it's been taken out.
Some very nice posturing by both players there. Posturing, reposturing their armies, seeing if they can get the edge over each other. Even the smallest difference in how your army is standing can make that difference in who wins the battle.
Are you kidding me?
I'm not kidding you, Tasis.
All right.
This is real.
This is real. All right, nice targeting down there on the Archon. That Zealot's doing a lot of damage. No Hellbats that I can see in this army, so the Zealots are going to shred through it.
That's right, and he got the ghosts that were in the front, so his two High Templars chasing everything back, and bam, the storms do start to go down. More reinforcements coming, though. Squirtle's going to have to be careful. He's going to lose all this.
Yeah, he overextended himself a little bit there.
Yeah, just slightly.
He might not be able to get his fourth base up ever at this rate.
Yeah, that is a possibility. You know, he keeps losing these armies, and when you lose an army, you normally remax or resupply with
3, 2.
Oh my God,
1.
That's going to be a pretty big deal, I'd say.
Very nicely done.
Yeah, that was nice. Killed quite a few SCVs there, actually. That was better than the first harassment.
Yeah. Well, a lot of those SCVs got bruised earlier on. Now, I think that the fourth is going to have to be canceled if it hasn't been already. If it can
very
still
good
be.
chance of that. Well, he's trying to target down that Viking because he does have another Colossi. But he's, again, mostly a Zealot army here. He's going to have to be careful about that. The Hellbats starting to do a lot of damage down here. Only has a couple left, but they are dealing huge amounts of damage. He's going to have to get up, though. This is way too much with the Archons.
Yeah, those medevacs really low on HP, actually.
Yeah, he's going to pick off 3, I think.
Yeah, he couldn't get 4, actually.
Oh, only gets 2. We're too optimistic about his chances there. Squirtle trying desperately to secure this fourth base. Don't forget, Keen actually does have a fourth base mining right now. So
yep, center right.
Very important thing to note. Keen attacking once again, hitting 2 locations, so it's going to be harder for Squirtle.
Time Warp and Nexus Cannon being used here. Colossi Micro up to the high ground. Looks like he's probably going to hold this again.
Yeah, looks like he just barely so will.
Wow.
Well, Keen,
Squirtle is barely hanging on. This is a real cliffhanger.
Yeah. You can see that he's actually just rallying nonstop across the map as Keen. So a huge amount of units is just always coming up. He wants to keep the unit numbers low for both players. That's why he keeps attacking like this. But Squirtle's doing a really good job refilling with his splash damage when he needs to. But actually, all of a sudden, look at this. No anti-air, and these Vikings going to town.
No Nexus Cannon here on that center-left Nexus. No Mothership to be seen either. He's just barely been hanging up, but this might just be too much.
Keen continuing to rally in a lot more units. Here come quite a few more. That's going to be a big deal because Squirtle needs another warp in right now. It's mostly Zealots. That's not going to help as much since there's Hellbats over here. And his splash damage is gone.
Is just barely it. just managed to overcome his opponent. He could targets down that Nexus, which is exactly what he's doing. Then he's going to run for it.
Oh,
nice.
That is so painful. Just when he got that 4th up, which means it's now a new 3rd.
Yep. And without the resources being mined from there coming in as quickly, the next attack or two should actually run Squirtle over. Now, Squirtle's control, despite what he says, I think is pretty damn good.
Yeah.
So it's always possible that he could hang on here.
Yeah, it is possible. If we look at the supplies, they aren't really that different. Keen put a lot into these attacks, but a lot of that supply of Squirtle, he has about 20 more probes, so you have to take that into consideration that his army is quite a bit weaker. And the smaller your supplies get, the more powerful the upgraded Terran army is compared to the upgraded Protoss army.
Yeah. All right. Looks like actually the Terran 2nd and 3rd are basically mined out, so they're both dependent on the 4th, so actually this is much more even than it initially looked like a little bit ago.
He is remaking that Nexus down to his original 3rd base, even though it is getting pretty low on minerals overall. His unit composition getting much, much better. He has 10 High Templars on the field. I wonder if he's going to turn some of those into Archons. Sometimes you can actually get too many High Templars, especially when your army supplies is slow.
I don't know. All right, looks like he's going to try to assassinate the small group of units over here. And Squirtle not really anywhere.
It's because he's dealing with the drop at the same time, I think.
I think so.
Losing 4 High Templars like that is basically inexcusable. That's really bad. That is something that may end up costing Squirtle the game. 4 more High Templars, 4 more Psystorms or feedbacks or whatever is so helpful.
Yeah. He will barely get that. So sick. Wow. He will make me talk like this. No moments like that. So he's going to, looks like regroup. I'm starting to wonder if Keen's been overly aggressive here. I guess he's got this bottom center base over here is 5th. But you got to be careful because if you attack like this and then you start to lose and continue to do so, you actually will just get countered and die.
That is true. You know, it's sometimes dangerous to let your army die over and over and over and just reinforce, because if Protoss gets the upper hand on an army and gets on top of your production facilities, you suddenly lose. But hold on, I think that's a ghost in there. I think he's about to do a little EMP drop. Oh, and I guess that's never going to happen.
Simming again, right coming in here. He's going to try it one more time now.
Look at this. Oh, it was actually a Marauder? There may have been. Sure. There may have been a ghost in it, not sure, but...
All right, there's so many Terran units now attacking over here. There's a lot of Archons, though, and a lot of very red and orange Terran units, so he might be able to take this out. It's kind of a nail-biter right now.
And it looks like he's just barely going to punch through. Many Archons losing their lives there. And with just more Zealots coming in, this is getting more and more grim for Squirtle.
Yep, he might just barely get him to roll over here. And I don't see many more Protoss units that can defend right now.
The next one Zealot.
This is not a good sign.
No, it is not. It looks like
Keen wins.
Yeah, it looks like Keen has taken this one.
And then that means we're going to go on to game number 2, which will be on the map of Squirtle's choice.
Well, that's good for Squirtle, but you know he's got to be a little bit pained by this one. GG. He got such a beautiful 3rd base timing up. Stopped all the harassment coming out of Keen dead in his tracks. And you know what? His big issue was the overcommittal on that first big attack. You have to be so careful in Protoss versus Terran, because if you attack into Terran and if it doesn't kill them, that first big attack, you're behind.
Yeah.
You have to kill them or ridiculously maim them to the point where you're like, oh, I win. Ha ha, I did too much damage and you're dead.
Yeah.
So, you know, as soon as he did that and lost all those units, man, Keen he knew he had to put that pressure on, and put that pressure on he did, Tasteless.
Yeah.
He put the lid on that pot.
The pot definitely got the lid on it that time.
Yeah. That's how you pressure cook something.
I gotta say, I think Squirtle can still win this, but that was really powerful aggression from Keen. That was some of the best Keen games we've ever seen.
Yeah, he keeps getting better and better. He's steadily, slowly, surely, quickly.
Well,
I don't know what you want to call it.
Came into Code S, a while ago, knowing how to win.
He was
like
the
no matter
32nd player in Code S so many times, where it's like, Who's the 32nd best in Code S this season? It's Keen.
It's Keen. He's still here. He's not going anywhere. It's funny because a lot of those guys will think, well, this guy's going to fall off the map.
Yeah.
He's going to be off the radar pretty soon. But he's staying here. Now he's playing brilliantly here against Squirtle, a GSL finalist.
Yeah. Well, Squirtle's going to have to tighten things up, Tasteless.
Hey, what a tough group here for Squirtle, too, despite how good he is. You've got three players with three completely different play styles and personalities.
Yeah. And they're all dangerous to him, too. The very aggressive Shine, the long game player Symbol, those are two totally different PVZs you have to prepare.
The guy who always wins the best of three no matter what, Keen.
Yeah. That's well said.
All right, guys, we're going to go into game number 2 between these two guys to find out who goes up to go to the winner's group. Face off against Symbol. The fight for the round is 16 here in the GSL Code S.